OneAcademy is the heart of our company. Cryptocurrency is not an easy product. It's a very innovative product based on technology and based on very, very complex concepts. For us to be part of this financial revolution, to be part of cryptocurrency and of a community, we need to understand exactly what we do and what we talk about. And this is why we have the OneAcademy. The OneAcademy provides you with concepts, provides you with explanation on cryptocurrency and on the financial world. I would encourage everybody to join the courses, to do the certificates, and to understand thoroughly how to use cryptocurrency, what cryptocurrency is, and how we can change the world by using cryptocurrency. OneAcademy. Learn today, lead tomorrow.
Learn today, lead tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fine episode of Red. We're in the house live at 5 right here on Red. So I'm expecting some people to be logging in from Yugoslavia, from Japan, from all over. It's like that. Right? So today, wonderful Tuesday, we have a very, very, very interesting program for you today. If you look right behind me, let me just kind of shift so you could kind of see it a little good. OneAcademy Financial Institution. Some of you probably hearing about this for the first time. Some of you, I'm sure, would have heard this name already. But here's what I want to get straight into it. We have a very, very, very powerful panel of speakers here this evening, and I want to quickly introduce them to you. So starting from the top of the screen, well, at least on my screen that you're seeing, there's a gentleman in a nice blue jersey, and I'm going to let them say a little bit about themselves. I'll just mention who they are. So firstly, we have on the panel Mr. Dwayne Cadiz. Dwayne, welcome to the show. And introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you, Eric. Hi, Internet family. Dwayne Cadiz here of the OneAcademy Caribbean family. Glad to be on the call. Hope that we're going to be highly interactive, and we are going to get out of the session learning something today. Thank you, Eric.
Lovely. Thank you. And I kind of skipping the wrong because they say that to keep the best for last, right? So we will see who is left as the best. But next I want to introduce a very what's the word? There's certain words I like to use to describe these guys. But anyhow, there's a gentleman you're seeing in a nice red top with a little white stripe, like he just came out of the gym or something, looking real prim, and the nice what do you call it, salt and pepper beard look kind of thing. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Kester Beale. Mr. Kester Beale, introduce yourself. What is it all about for you?
My name is Kester Beale, and I am a part of the OneAcademy team. We train people to learn and earn. I am into the telecommunication sector as my incumbent portion of employment, and it is my pleasure to be here today on Red.
Lovely, thank you very much. Learn and earn. We will talk about that in a little bit, but that's a serious matter. And we continue to make the wrong, so you realize now how the thing's swinging, right? So right down to the bottom of my screen again. I'm not sure how it's looking on yours. Zoom have a way of twisting stuff. But on my screen, to the bottom of my screen, a gentleman right behind him, he's in black. And behind him, there's a little a banner saying One World Foundation, which is something very important we want to touch on later on. But I want to introduce to you now, in this network, in this organization, there are some rank facilitations, and this gentleman holds the rank of what we call a diamond. And you notice his jersey, learn and earn. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ivan Mark. Take it away, Ivan.
Okay, good day, everyone. Good day. Yeah, good day, everyone. Good day, Eric. It is so delightful to be on this Red Tube and this Red channel and really give our perspective on what is real financial education. The OneAcademy is one of the premier places that one can find very simple but very effective financial education. And why we stress on that? Mainly because we come out of school and we don't come out with any financial etiquette, meaning that there are so many things that we could benefit from financially, but because we don't have the wherewithal, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the expertise to make important decisions financially, we usually find ourselves in some issues. So the One Academy, we bring that to the masses for them to literally have a clear understanding of what one can do to improve their financial situation. If you allow me, Eric, right now we are, of course, in lockdown because of COVID-19, and there are so many things that is happening. Um, at this point in time, the whole world economy is in flux. It is in disarray. Many things are changing. And if you cannot understand what is taking place, then when this thing is over, you are stepping into a whole different world without the understanding of what went on. So what we try to do is clear it up for everyone. And we do it on major fronts. We do it on, of course, online. We do it physically. We do it one-on-one. We do it in groups because this information is so important. So I'm proud to be here and proud to represent the One Academy because it is literally changing lives and perspectives. And that is one of the major things that we need to do in society. All right. So top of the day to all. And I look forward to the discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ivan Mark. And rounding off the crew, the team, the lone lady in the bunch, the lone giant amongst all. Seriously, if you see her, she's very petite, but of course, TV has a way of balancing the playing field for everybody. So she's just as big as all of us, but in a real way, she's actually bigger than some of us. This lady is actually I don't know if a professor is the right word, but she actually does lecture at our university in Trinidad and Tobago. So she coming with some she coming with some brain. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, Miss Muriel Lazama, and you notice she's also in her Learn and Earn t-shirt, and I like the banner right behind her back. Hold the vision, trust the process. Muriel, welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. They say if you're not red, if you're not unread, you're dead. So we are absolutely, we are really happy to be here. Oh yes, my background is varied. I'm in projects and consultancy, etc. And yes, I also lecture in our engineering faculty in a master's program. And so education is key. And that's why, and this program, I was attracted to this because of the education. And Mr. Mark spoke about where we are in the world in terms of the COVID and what is happening and why we need education. And I tell you, in the world, people are creating weapons of mass destruction. And whether we have conspiracy theory that this virus is one or not, there are weapons of mass destruction creating to damage the world. But you know what we have done? In our One Academy, we have created and are continuing to create weapons of mass instruction. And therefore, this platform is a phenomenal platform to learn and earn because you'll be learning for profit. And that's why we are passionate about our One Academy and are passionate about sharing this information. And we really thank you for this red platform so that we can encourage people to come on our platform to learn and then earn.
Thank you, Muriel. If you all see me shifting slightly because I have another screen, so I'm also monitoring the chat to see when people, comment in YouTube as the case may be, because we want to also hear from them, their perspectives. And we are now being joined by the final member of the panel, and I'll take him to task after this, right? But we will leave. There's a little inside joke. But Mr. Alvin Morton is here, and just like the others, we want to ask him to, Alvin, just quickly introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, what's your background. Welcome to Red, welcome to the One Academy discussion.
A pleasant good afternoon, Mr. Congenial host. Right, I don't mind being taken to task. I was actually caught up in some work matters because as part of my background, I am a business services manager with a facilities management company. And one of the things we have noticed is an increased need for sanitization, increased requests for sanitization. So most of our people have had to be out to work. We've had to reduce some, but most of our people have been out to work. So we are getting phone calls regularly. Many members of the senior management team, in particular, are getting a lot of phone calls asking for sanitization of all sorts of things: aircraft, helicopters, you name it.
Hmm.
So I was actually dealing with a costing for that, and that took me over the time. Nevertheless, I became a part of the One Life system from April 2017, and I'm one of the earliest OneAcademy presenters. Okay, it's been my mainstay, it's been my forte, going on 3 years now. And it has given me a lot of perspective for my master's that I studied 10, 15 years ago now, as well as the project management professional designation that I hold, and the industrial engineering degree that I acquired too many years ago now. So that's a bit about me. I am an avid Toastmaster of 9 years last month, April. So it was a natural thing to bring the two together. Use of speech is important, and having topics to speak about is also important. So there was a natural synergy that I saw and that I have made use of. Both have fed into each other. So, what it was last week, I think, a week before, I was on the OneAcademy doing, I suppose, what I do, talking about inflation and so on. One of the things with the OneAcademy is that you're forced to do research and better understand what you're up against. Fractional reserve, quantitative easing, a lot of the bread and the butter issues. Now, all of these are nice terms and dressed up in a nice way. People would be, I suppose, surprised or horrified to learn that quantitative easing is very simple. It is money printing. That's all it is. There are a lot of other things that are dressed up around that, but at the end of the day, it's simply about printing money or putting ones and zeros in a ledger and saying, bingo, money is created, supply has been increased. What that does and has in terms of impact for the ordinary person is unseen, at least initially, but you certainly feel it eventually in your pockets, in your ability to manage what you see as a reducing grocery basket to the same quantum of money, and the list goes on. You find that you might have noticed you have to work harder to stay in the same place, and you're wondering why. A lot of these things contribute to that. And if anything I can say for the OneAcademy is this: it will increase your understanding either by design or by default. By design, because you will want to know more. By default, you will be forced to know more. If you wish to say anything else about the OneAcademy, it is this: it assists with understanding. One of the greatest books that has been written is that says that in all thy getting, get understanding. And for me, that has been the most powerful. OneAcademy supplies understanding. Out of that, everything else, in my humble opinion, will follow.
Thank you very much, Alvin. Do you realize I could just Lego any one of them, just say go, and they will just take the reins and run because they packed full of information and knowledge. So I want to get straight into the topic. So OneAcademy, if you notice right behind me, let me swing again so you can see it. OneAcademy, financial institutions. Obviously, we're talking finance at the end of the day. Right? So when you hear academy, you think school, financial institution, there, you put two and two together. So you want to talk some money. So what exactly does the OneAcademy offer? Let me ask that question, and I kind of direct questions to some of you guys, if you don't mind, and then some I might just have it open. Anybody want to jump in? But I want to start at the top of the One Academy institution, for want of a better word, in the Caribbean, representing that team, the diamond in the middle, Mr. Ivan Mark. Ivan, One Academy Finance. Where did that come from? Who came up with this idea?
Well, One Academy really is the heart of another system. And this system basically encompasses an ecosystem. Now, if you understand what an ecosystem is a place where each part of the system is linked inherently, but operates in a form for the benefit of the whole. So the One Academy basically operates in a financial system by providing the information, the education, and also the practical aspect of operating in that ecosystem. Now, it is packed full. The idea behind it and the mission is really to give people an equal opportunity, and we're talking about the masses, an equal opportunity at the financial realm, in order for them to again improve their wealth, improve their understanding, and also improve their status in society. So what it is really to ignite a financial revolution. And because you see, a lot of information for years have been kept from us, relevant information. And you have only certain people in the world understand or know this information exists. They utilize the information to their fullest, and they are always at the top of the food chain. So what the One Academy does is try to level the playing field so that everyone can have that ability. Now, if you choose not to do so, that again is your choice. But what we are saying is that the information is there. The information that you should have had even when you started, before you start school, because in some cultures, one of the main things that they do is really from small teach their children about finance and business. Why? Because if you get your finances in order, most things in life will follow suit and be in order as well. When your finances is not in order, you find that it affects practically all aspects of your environment and your life.
Very true.
So the One Academy, it is a simple, effective, and very in its way to make people understand, very comprehensive forum for one to really get involved in finance, because you use money every day. You literally use money every day. It is something that everybody around the world uses money. So you should understand it. You
True.
should understand how can you use something every day, and you ask just the normal person about quantitative easing, and they don't understand something that affects them in that massive scale.
Very
And
true.
a lot of the people here really didn't know what quantitative easing was until they got in their One Academy. And then certain things started to make sense and started to link about why things are how it is. Now, me being in finance for about 20 something years, I came in with a lot of understanding. But what the One Academy did was actually shock you into you realizing that even though you know so much, there's still some things that
Yes.
is relevant that you'd
Yeah.
never used. And to me, that was the eye opener that, listen, as someone in finance, my duty is really to help other people. And if I'm not doing it effectively, the One Academy made me realize that
Let me
and
just
change my approach and also the information.
Yes. Oh, yeah, very important. As you said something that I wanted to just digress one time to Mr. Cadiz, because I kind of losing my train of thought there, just so. But you said something about some people not having access to certain levels of financial education. Let me bring in Mr. Cadiz on that, because I know, I mean, I've had some discussions, of course, with all of you guys, and I know Mr. Cadiz has a particular perspective where that is concerned. What is Mr. Cadiz talk about that? Some people having certain levels of financial education while some have none at all.
Well, definitely. Basically, it speaks to legacy, and that is one of the traits that some a lot of Caribbean people, we have good legacies. We have legacies, that would traditions that would have been handed down from family to family. Different family traits that we find in the lineage. But somehow finance seemed to have eluded most of us, right? And finance is, as Ivan says, one of the most important factors in life. If you get your finances right, chances are you will have no marital problem. If you get your finances
Well,
right, chances, yeah, chances are, chances are that your
Interesting.
children will go to the best schools and have
Yeah,
the best potential to succeed in their careers. Yeah, because money matters.
true.
money
Money matters,
answer it all things.
right?
Very yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
All right,
you know.
Muriel and
So
Muriel. Sorry, go ahead.
wh-
Go ahead, Cadiz. Go ahead. I thought you had finished. Go ahead.
yeah, I think I
All
made
right.
enough of a contribution. Go ahead.
All right. So let me jump to Muriel. Muriel,
Right.
of course, you lecture at university. You lecture at a in a master's class at university. So we know that is no five day study kind of thing. That is a wealth of knowledge and information. So based on that background, having gotten exposed now to OneAcademy, what stands out to you? What is so different or so unique about the OneAcademy education as opposed to the level of things that you have been for however long in your life? What is it about OneAcademy?
You think, well, there's practical learning. I also lecture in a program that allows for practical learning. You find though that even at that level, you have people who everybody in the program would have had to have at least a first degree to be part of, for me to lecture to them. And even in that, you have persons who are underemployed, unemployed, between employments, etc. And they have to put themselves in a position to learn something else. The thing about the OneAcademy is that you learn as you go, because you do not have to finish a program to apply yourself to say, let me seek to earn, because it's as you go. And what is interesting and important is, okay, we have a platform. On the platform, you go online, you can learn, you can pick, you do your certification, etc. But what brings it home with what we do as part of our OneAcademy program is to augment that. And in the world, in the university setting, I don't lecture in finance in the university setting. Our program is in Faculty of Engineering, and you have augmented learning, but you have to find your way. Here, what we do is we guide you, because even when you see a concept, with all my degrees, with all my learning, didn't know about quantitative easing. I would not lie. I did not know about fractional reserve lending. But you know what has happened is that although what I am lecturing in is not directly involved in this, it impacts us. So I have been able to incorporate what I have picked up from the OneAcademy into elements of what I'm doing, even from the strategic point perspective, so that there's takeaway, because our institution do not educate you with finance for life and for living in any sphere. It is in numbers, information, and if you're doing it, make a balance sheet, etc. But in terms of applied knowledge, and we have the opportunity here to be able to enhance that applied knowledge. And this is what is the attractor for me. And may I say further, this business that we are part of, this ecosystem, this education is not only educating us adults and re-education us. We have to unlearn some things and relearn. So we have to empty out some of the things we have and relearn. But what has happened, there is sustainability, there's future, because, and we'll talk about that later, we have the Super TED, which is financial education for children between 5 and 18, and that's the gap we have in our economy, what Mr. Cadiz may have spoken about, because you start to learn and use money from the time you're small and going to school, and you have no idea of how that is done. Your mama give you money, your father give you money, and you spend. You have no idea of anything. But what this program has done is positioned children to understand finance, money, use of money, so that from the youngest person can apply this as they advance in life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you see this, listen, you're getting solid information here. I want to get in a little deeper now. So I want to jump down now to Mr. Alvin Morton. And I want to get in now to some of the content of the OneAcademy. So you realize what OneAcademy offers is real life-changing information. And I really like that. You see what Mr. Cadiz talk about? What we did not have access to, but now we do. So we really without excuse. And I think Ivan made the point earlier. We really are without excuse. Now I use this statement that I use. If you don't properly understand something, you're liable to do one of three things. You could abuse it, you could underuse it, or you could misuse it. And in any one of those three instances, you will not be getting the right benefit of the thing, because you're just using it wrong. Any one of those three words you use, you're just using it wrong, and you will never really get the full potential out of the thing. So understanding is key. So let me bring Mr. Alvin Morton back in the discussion. I know OneAcademy offers different levels of education, and also know they offer different categories, if I should put it that way, of financial education. Give us a little insight into what exactly does OneAcademy offer.
Okay, so there are 7 levels of education in the OneAcademy. I have done the first 2. The first one is Introduction to Finance, and the second one deals with risk. Okay, and I want to use the eloquent example you've just given as an instance. Yeah, if you don't understand something, you will either not use it, abuse it, underuse it, or misuse it.
So that's 4. You give my next one there. That's 4.
I've added 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first item that qualifies and that we touched on recently, might have been maybe not so recent, a few weeks ago, is this business of debt. DEBT, debt. There are 2 forms of debt. You have consumptive debt and you have self-liquidating debt. One is good, one perhaps not so good. Many of us were only schooled in consumptive debt.
Yeah, Alvin, should I get my pen and paper? Because it's like a class you just started already. Ladies and gentlemen, get a pen and paper and take notes. This is serious information. Go ahead.
So Muriel made the point. As children, we engaged in consumptive debt. There are other groupings who would have been exposed to self-liquidating debt at a very early age. And because of the way the human is, the first 7 years, the subconscious mind accepts information. That is all it can do. paradigms get formed, get locked in, get set. Sometime after 7, your rational or conscious mind begins to take over. That mind is the one that can discern information. Believe it or not, you get all of this out of the OneAcademy. If you, in one of the pages, it says specifically, if you have learned this skill set, I'm paraphrasing, and that skill set is no longer in demand, you're advised to learn another skill set. Another instance would be related to debt. Have a certain amount put aside for the purchase of your house. It is prescriptive in that sense. In another place, it would say avoid going into debt. In another place, it would say keep a certain amount of liquid cash. It will tell you that inflation is built or based on the printing of money by central banks. And you get this information at level 1. And this is why many instances the recommendation is to get at least level 1. For me, it perspectivized a lot of the higher learning that I have experienced. As I was telling Kester Bean yesterday, when I studied A-level economics, sure, we were told about the credit creation process that banks are a part of. Sure, we were told that central banks use moral suasion. But we were never given the context within which all of this took place. Through the OneAcademy, we now have a context for these particular components. We could talk all day and all night about what the level 1 alone has in it. We could go into the need for gold. And I recognize that that's not a popular topic for everybody. But when we understand that as a metal, it has been responsible for being a safe haven for 5,000 plus years and is currently undervalued, and more so, is seemingly unavailable, even as it is undervalued, and some of the exchange traded funds that are backed by it are dropping in value. The OneAcademy, through the process of inquiry and research, instructs you in telling yourself something about this is wrong. And the more you study, the more you begin to now change that paradigm that may have been set within you from 0 to 7, that told you consumptive debt was okay. You now begin to, through the process of repetition, challenge that paradigm and say, but listen, this consumptive debt thing, something is wrong with it. Because, as they say, the first thing to do when you're in a hole is to stop digging. Let me try to replace this consumptive debt with self-liquidating debt, which, by the way, is the preferred and the modus operandi of those who are less or perhaps more affectionately known as the quote-unquote 1%. It is not that they don't use debt, but the returns from those assets, those instruments, pay for the debt. We, on the other hand, have been schooled at the front to take up the points made by Roland Hades and the inputs of Murialism. So these are just, and I've just come up with all of this just by use of debt and the categories you've articulated. Not used properly, misused, abused.
Yeah, boy. Serious. I took note of those two terms: consumptive debt, self-liquidate. Well, I go and study because I need to find out more about this because this song is serious. And that now brings me to our next thing. I want to bring in Mr. Kes Beal on this, because Kes, we in the COVID-19, we locked down. Governments coming up with all sorts of solutions. But the more I look at them, all I am seeing is added debt, increased debt. How are we going to come out? So you're creating more debt to try to fix a scenario. But to me, that's like digging the hole deeper. So what do you have to say about that, Mr. Kes Beal? And I know you have some views on that, so talk to us. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to start around where Alvin Morton left off, because when you find yourself in a hole, the first thing to do is to stop digging. Because chances are you put yourself into the hole. So the only way to even start to come out is to admit to yourself that you're in a hole. You don't even have to think about who created the hole. You're in a hole. So let me stop digging just on the off chance that I have put myself into this hole. So basically, the currency itself worldwide is fiat currency. It's backed by nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, it's debt-based, because apart from quantitative easing, the printing of money, you have fractional reserve banking, where while we blame simply central banks for the wanton printing of money, we have to realize that commercial banks create more money by, as Mr. Derwin Cady said, by inputting ones and zeros.
Just before you go further, when you say the money isn't backed by anything, what exactly you mean by that? So how my $100 gets the value that they say it have? If how come? I don't want to lose your trend. I will going to continue. But as I said that it sparks something. How come if you say money is not backed by anything, or the currency is not backed by anything, so then what gives my $100 whatever value they say it have?
It's simply a matter of trusting the government you are dealing with, because that so-called money is literally fiat currency. Because money itself, hold on a sec, money itself is a store of value. If inflation is eating away at money, then look again, you do not have money, because it's supposed to be a store of value. So just the fact that Mr. Alvin Morton said that gold is undervalued and unavailable. It's unavailable because certain persons are hoarding the gold. So in that light, it is also undervalued because this fiat currency, that is an international phenomenon, that fiat currency has been, 1, printed into oblivion, 2, through fractional reserve banking, there is more than actually printed. But through fractional reserve banking, the banks can lend you cash that they don't actually have. Give a name, Godfrey Bloom. Godfrey Bloom blew his stop on more than one occasion in the English,
the British Parliament,
the
yes.
English
yes.
halls of law.
Yeah.
Parliament, correct? Because that fractional reserve banking means that the banks can create more finances, fiat currency, than even the central bank. When you think how many years it would take either someone to spend $1 billion, or the height of $1 billion in, let's say, $100 denominations, this tells me that the printing presses never turned off. If they can stand that level of jamming, as we like to say, trying to be, I need a printer like that. I don't need it to print currency, because after a couple of years, I have to dump my printer and buy a new one. But if you have a printer that can run for 200-300 years and more, I wouldn't mind having one like that. But to get back on track, the governmental solution, and again I like to play with words, a solution can be dilute or concentrated. The governmental solution to this COVID-19 pandemic is to continue digging a hole. Same hole we said you should stop digging. We have to realize that government policies are totally in opposition to personal policies. You in your home realize you're stepping into debt, you should do more due diligence, and you should make sure that you can start to back yourself out of that hole. Slowly but surely, pay your installments. If necessary, consolidate your debt.
Guess, hold up. And I want you to say that again with emphasis. You say government policy is different from home policy or something. Say it again, but say it with emphasis, because you're saying something big right there, partners. Go ahead.
The word economics itself actually focus on a household and was adapted and put into the national and international arena with the use of the term macro before it, as opposed to micro economics. So basically, you in your personal household, in your personal economy, would attempt as much as possible to stay out of debt, or at least manage your debt. When you have global debt crossing 250 trillion, it is obvious that governmental policies do not mirror the policies in the home. Because things that would get you arrested, example, writing a check on an account that is in debt, worse than actually having an empty account. Additionally, printing your own cash, you can't do at home. So basically,
you have Alvin killing himself.
These two, I would like to call them phenomena. These two phenomena just by themselves indicate that governmental policy is different to family, home management policy.
Guess, hold your point. I want to interject here, because I have some comments coming in on the chat, and I think this ties in directly with what you saying here. So somebody asked, can anyone please show me what money looks like? You know, you're talking about all kind of thing, but and you're talking about government printing and printing press and all kind of. So this person asked, can anyone please show me what money looks like? So the question obviously is, do we really understand what money is?
I think I probably need to give definitions. One, money is a store of value. Two, money is what you and I agree it is. So basically, if I have something that you want and you have something that I want, we don't need to bring that fiat into it. We have what they call a double coincidence of wants. And once that exists, we could actually trade items.
I hear you. I just want to interject again. I might be oversimplifying it a little bit. So based on what you just said there, will it be correct to say money in the true sense is really a concept and not something physical? Because if it is based on, and you're talking about trading, so is it really true to say that money at the end of the day is really a concept, and something becomes money when it is accepted in a certain framework, but that the thing itself is not necessarily money? Asking, I don't know. I ask it.
I wouldn't like to go that far. Currency is a concept.
Okay.
Money can be real because gold is real. I have a paper clip in my hand. If I have, not a paper clip, sorry, a nail clipper. If I have 5 million of these, and I could make a market for this in itself can give me continued value, and anyone else I pass it on to give me continued value, and they'll just give me a piece of paper that our government says has value that we accept. One thing we always have to remember is time is the equalizer. So this generation, the adults in this generation cannot be fooled as effectively as the adults in the coming generation. So if we give them certain things as the norm and their parents don't educate them enough, then that new norm will become the norm, and their children can be moved away further from the facts and the truth. And basically that's what happened to us, because literally we had value. We had farms, we had cattle, we had all the different things that had value. And going back into a more rudimentary time, and a system was created where this paper became king, and everybody left their cattle, their land, their food that they were growing, and how you say it in storybooks, they went into the cities to seek their fame and fortune. Not realizing they left their fame and fortune back on the farm. And now they have stepped into another farm for a piece of paper. So, to generalize and to more or less cap it off, going into debt in order to ease debt, who pays this debt in the final analysis? The governments do not put their hands in their pockets and pay these debts. We pay the debt with our taxes. So basically, we are putting ourselves in a position of a deeper hole via the government. So the whole principle of stop digging is in itself an illusion.
Oh, Lord. Listen, lady and gentlemen, in my estimation, we need a part 2 and a part 3 of this, because there's a whole heap that we haven't been even scratched the surface yet. But I'm kind of glad, because I really wanted to give a good taste of what and I think people getting a good sense of what OneAcademy has to offer, because it was interesting to hear everybody say that when you started this journey, you did not have the kind of information that you could be sharing now. So it proves the value and the magnitude of OneAcademy and what it has to offer. But I want to digress a little bit, Kes. I want to digress a little bit, because there are a couple things I wanted to touch, specifically in this first round of talks. As I say, we could organize at our convenience. We'll organize a part 2, maybe a part 3, maybe a part 4. I mean, I don't mind. We could do like a series, because there's so much things to talk about in here. So you just let me know. But I want to touch quickly on 2 other aspects of OneAcademy. Muriel hinted it. I think I hinted it earlier as well. There's an arm of OneAcademy that focuses strictly on financial education for children. In the first thing, I know most people might. What is that? You're going to teach children finance? What is that? but yet that is an integral part of what One Academy offers. Why is that so? What exactly is this financial education for children? I know this called Super TED. What exactly is that about, and why do you think the creators of One Academy thought that that was important? Anybody could jump in with that.
I think we could probably all share, but I think it was visionary in that, because what it is, it's done, and we have initiated a program here with children teaching children, because we've had young adults doing the program to encourage younger children. And the Super TED really has its own superhero, a cartoon character who explains money, explains the issue of quantitative, all we have said, in a bite-sized format so that younger people will understand. And we have had instances, Mr. Cadiz would have had a child who would have, passed through Super TED. We have had instances of children having been schooled with Super TED, say to the parents, "Dad, I want a bike. I want an extra bike." "But why do we want an extra bike?" "Well, I want to have a bike so I could rent it out to my friends." Because they understand about business, because One Academy, the Super TED, the One Academy element of Super TED talks about proper use of money, proper spending, proper saving, proper business, so that children can understand. And I dare say that some of us adults even have clarity with information that is shared in Super TED. And I know that Ivan has been very much around the Super TED for a while. So he and his wife Michelle and all the others. So I know he can chime in. Also, Mr. Cadiz, who has a young son and or a young child, and they also learn from the example shared in Super TED.
Ivan?
Yeah.
Well, since
Mary,
she called your name.
coming out from the point that you made. Yeah, coming out of the point that you made, Muriel, are you hearing me? You're hearing? Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes, we're hearing.
All right, so coming out from the point that Mary made, I believe that what happened is Super TED is the missing link in the educational system. So literally what One Academy did was actually introduce that link of how it should be in our educational system. So in the curriculum, because we have an educator here in the form of Muriel, but in the curriculum, for ages, there have been this missing link that basically keeps us away. So the children grow up without this information. What we have done is literally flip the switch and say, listen, let us reintroduce this piece of information in the educational system and see the difference that it will make over the period of time. Because imagine you're 5-year-old, so we cater for children between the ages of 5 to 7 with the Super TED. So it's nicely done, very illustrative, and of course, very informative. So imagine you sit down with your 7-year-old, and instead of him asking you for some toy for Christmas, you can have the conversation with him, and he may ask you, Dad, well, in Super TED, I saw that a good portfolio is one that has gold in it. What about if I take my weekly allowance and purchase some gold? What do you think about that, Dad? Would that be a conversation you would love to have with your children? I'm just asking Eric.
Oh yeah,
that would be a fantastic conversation.
Yeah, most definitely.
Any parent would love to have with their 7-year-old. So when you bring it down and you hone it and quantify it, that piece of information will go on for years, because the scripture said, grow up a child in the way he shall go, and when he reaches of age, he shall not depart from it. So we take that in every sense of the word. So if you give a child good and solid, a good foundation financially, where they understand not just the count 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4, and so on, but he understands, listen, if I get an early start on my financial know-it-all, I would be in a better position. So we have really been doing a lot with the Super TED. The first place, literally, to go into the schools, because we are all over the place, we're in 194 countries. And the first place to literally go into the schools with it was Barbados. So we had a couple sessions in some preparatory schools in Barbados, and it was well received. It was so well received until, of course, the children went back to their parents and told them about it and said, listen, we need to get this Super TED. We need to understand these things because, hey, every child would love to have money to do certain things that they want to do as children. So imagine they start off with that and they grow into adults with the same education. How much different our environment would be. Kesby's made a point that the microeconomics, the home and the macro are two different kettle of fish, two different beasts. And literally, if the home environment financially is taken care of, what do you think the macro will be? So, before 1971, before Nixon came off the gold standard, people of that generation hated, and let me say that again, hated to owe an individual bank or other institution. Now we take pride in owing for consumerism. We take pride in driving a $200,000 car that we cannot afford, but the bank give it to us, knowing fully well that we cannot afford it, and traps us at the end of the day, in so much that if a situation like this that we are in comes up and creeps up on us, it is difficult to make any move because you are in debt. Earlier today, I was listening to a video with Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett, he says that, listen, he is making sure that his company literally could survive any apocalypse, any natural disaster, or anything like that by staying liquid, so that at the end of the day, when opportunity presents itself, the company can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
On a micro scale, we, the runners of the household, supposed to have that same sort of strategy. That if anything should happen, I am so well prepared that I could take advantage of it. How do you do that? You do that by equipping yourself with education and the know-it-all to really take advantage of certain things. So we are starting from the young, going all the way up to anyone else that wants to really look at this education. And I think that in itself says a lot for the company, says a lot for where we want to go, and also really will spread this thing about legacy planning from your children go up. And it's as simple as that. And it is working. It is a fantastic system.
Yes. Thank
and
you,
we
ladies and
appreciate it
gentlemen.
so much. Right?
Thank
So
you,
I'd like to
Ivan.
give the other panelists
Yes. Well, actually, we just crossed the
some
1
time
hour mark.
to really explore this and say what they think about this Super TED.
Yes. Well, listen, guys, we've just crossed the 1 hour mark. It's actually 1 hour and 1 minute that we've been running. Yeah. But as I said, we definitely need to do a part 2. And I could see a whole episode on just Super TED. Trust me. A whole episode on strictly Super TED. If we could get Lisa in Barbados to fall in, and not Muriel, oh Lord, what's her name? Maureen. Because I know both of them were involved in that in Barbados. If we could get them to fall in, we can do a whole talk just on Super TED because it's important. is important. Is important. Is important. I said, listen, I
And just recently, sorry, Eric, but
sure.
recently, a couple weeks ago, we had a Super TED series, a period, and we had Sarah and Sinette, some young people, and also JL Mark lead the discussion and explain to children the Super TED from their perspective, and these are all 21-year-olds, you know, so
Wow.
so
Yeah.
the young teaching the young.
Yeah, and Miri, you know what is really noteworthy is that even people, adults, don't fully understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Something as simple as that. And the Super TED teaches that. What is the difference between an
Yeah,
asset
that's
and a
that's what I said
liability?
earlier. Yeah,
Which is some of the core fundamental, which is some of the core fundamentals that one should understand. Anytime you start to earn money, you're supposed to know and understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Something that is
So,
not taught. This is something that we don't know. This is something that we discover by the way when we have found ourselves in the hole. And many times we have to use that same shovel, stop digging, use the shovel to really come out and stand on.
Yeah.
And this is what we provide here with the OneAcademy.
Well, of course,
Yeah,
I
it's a
started.
serious thing. It's worldwide.
Yeah, I started my OneAcademy studies. Of course, I mean, I have my heart is at the back, you know. But I'm not at the level of some of these people. I get in there. I get in there. But there's a video that I looked at recently that I commented on, where this gentleman, somebody called his name earlier on, Godfrey Bloom,
yeah.
in the
Godfrey
European
Bloom.
Parliament. And he was talking about
Godfrey
banks
Bloom.
and how banks operate and the kind of mess that they've caused and stuff. And I made a statement. I said, if 2 years ago, if I did not get involved in OneAcademy, I would have seen that video, listen to Godfrey Bloom, laugh, and just move on like normal. Because that would have just do like that and fly over my head like a plane, because I would have been lost to what he's talking about. But having gotten involved in my level 1, and I'm going on to other levels because this thing is real serious. My son already did level 1 as well. One of these, and I like to share this. My son did some studies at Costat. So in Trinidad, we know what that is, right? That's like a university level, studies. And he did some studies in business and economics and stuff. And after getting him enrolled in the OneAcademy, he said, "Daddy, you know, everything that we did in Costat, level 1. This rocked me, you know. He said level 1 in OneAcademy cover all that and more." I said, "Nah, man, you serious?" He said, "Yes. Everything we did, he just finished Costat, about 2 years of studies, and he said all of that is covered in level 1 OneAcademy and more." So this is not jokey thing, people. But ladies and gentlemen, listen, we have to cut it. The discussion going nice. I know Ivan also has another class that he has to go to attend to, but we will do a part 2 and a part 3. So let me first say thanks, a big, huge. If I had 10 like me, I could have give them a round of applause. My wife in the corner there. But I want to say seriously thanks to the panel for taking the time. These are all busy people. You hear Alvin just came out from actually working. And of course, it's COVID-19 lockdown scenario. So we understand the kind of constraints that people working under. But yet, they were able to squeeze the time to be here, to share with you guys, to help educate you. So you will have the correct information so that you could make the right decision. You cannot make an informed decision without the correct information. Think about that. We wasting time. You could never make an informed decision without the right information. And that's what we hear about this evening, ladies and gentlemen, sharing the correct information with you. So Mr. Ivan Mark, Alvin Morton, Kester Beale, Doreen Cadiz, and the lone lady at the bunch, hopefully she won't be alone, in that sense the next time, Miss Muriel Lazama. Thank you on behalf of Team Red, that one. But on behalf of Team Red, I want to say thanks to you guys for taking the time, and to sharing with the world what OneAcademy has to offer. Look out for part 3. part 2, sorry, coming sometime soon, ladies and gentlemen. And to our guests online, I want to say thanks to you for taking the time, for jumping in. I see a couple people started to, good, and some more comments just started to come in. Interesting stuff, but we definitely will send the notification out early, so and hopefully we'll have more people involved participating, whether actually as part of the panel or on the chat, on the chat for the live stream. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks again 100% for taking the time, for sharing the moment with us. OneAcademy, get to know it. Let me just tell you one time, every day, 12 o'clock noon, every single day of the week, Monday to Friday, you go on Facebook and you go to OLN Caribbean and you will find a live OneAcademy Zoom broadcast happening where we discuss all sorts of things put into finance. Every Monday to Friday. Jump on there, OLN Caribbean on Facebook, take it in. If you have any concerns, you have any questions, feel free to contact anybody that you see connected to that page. You will get some answers, I guarantee you that. So, from all of us at Red, again, thank you, and we Red.
Yeah.